got married previously to his
Okay,
brother,
wait.
and at that time,
Joanne, say that again.
That was illegal.
Say that again, that Vicky didn't do her job.
No, say it again. Say it again, that Alex and Joanne, what's her name?
Okay.
Johanna?
My father, in 1923, when he was 21 years old, came to the United States with his mother, Johanna. And they came after living 7 years alone without her husband, who had died. And the three Wald brothers were already in Milwaukee, living in the United States with Lenka. Were they all living together?
I don't think Isidore did. Isidore got married.
But I imagine they all came to live with Lenka as sort of a jumping off point when they arrived in the country.
But Alex
Lenka and David helped them. But Uncle Eugene and my father were the smart ones, and they stayed.
They stayed. So all the cleaning was done, the laundry was done, everything was done.
They even had resident children.
What's not to like?
Lenka, your mom?
She must have had help.
She had help.
She must have maids.
Until the explosion.
What was the explosion?
Evelyn should tell us about that.
What was the explosion?
When Lenka told Alex.
Oh, and she wasn't the one that did it. Dr. Lieberman did it.
Ben Lieberman, the most brilliant, wonderful man. He turned out to be the director, the head of the American Heart Association.
I didn't know.
Ben Lieberman was a brilliant musician, a brilliant physician, and he was always advising people what to do. He tried to advise us when my brother was growing up about many things, but my father had more difficulty listening to him when he was older than he did about moving out of Lenka's house when
he
was
didn't have
younger.
a choice.
There you go. So my father moved into, what was the name of that place with Uncle Eugene?
Viking.
The Viking, and he lived there for a year with Uncle Eugene, and then he and my mother got married and lived at the Viking.
So maybe it was 2 years.
So they lived at the Viking. You can see it. It's a beautiful apartment in Milwaukee off of Lake Drive. It's gorgeous.
So what brought him to Los Angeles?
I can tell you exactly.
Overlooking the lake.
I actually have a wonderful story about my father moving to California. He had an uncle who was a kosher butcher when he was a little boy. And he told him two things when he was 5 years old and when my father was growing up in Hungary. He said, someday you should go to the United States and not be clipping chickens. You should be clipping coupons. and you should go to California. So my father had that idea in his head from age 5. And when I remember as a young adult, I would go to the bank with my mother. And you buy government municipal bonds and you clip coupons. And they're very extraordinarily valuable. Those are the kind of coupons he meant. So my father took his advice and did extraordinarily well because he clipped coupons and moved to California.
Oh my God.
And then he bought barracks. Didn't he buy a lot of property?
Like in Bakersfield or something?
No, not exactly. He bought low-income housing around the United States, and just one particular property was created for soldiers. Coming back from the Second World War. Yeah, there was Baltimore, there was San Diego, but that's a kind of a different
But that's how they started.
Was that his main?
That's how he started. It was in Baltimore.
No, that's not true. He started with a building on Brady Street in Milwaukee.
That part, yes.
No, that was all. In Milwaukee is where he started to do well, buying property. He bought one property, fixed it, bought another property. He fixed that.
Would he sell them? He'd buy them and sell them?
He would buy them, he would fix them, and sell them at the right time.
Yeah.
The original question was, who was older, Evelyn or Marion?
Who came out first?
Okay.
And you're saying?
I was 35 minutes older than my sister. And my mother kept insisting that she's going to have twins. And everybody else said no. And Dr. David Lando was her doctor. And he kept insisting that there weren't two kids there until I was born, and then he said, Lenka, you're right.
Wait, Lando, was he related?
I thought he was a
Yeah, he was a cousin. but we were the first twins
That's why he couldn't diagnose
at
twins.
St. Joseph's Hospital.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't Landau an optometrist or something?
Yeah, but that's
No, that was Julia.
Dr. David Landau.
That was
fixed up my
Julia. So
parents.
this is probably a relation
one?
of
Dr.
Julia.
Landau fixed up my
Oh,
parents.
really?
In,
35 minutes to
in,
close.
Wait, so what was Dr. Landau's first name?
David.
David.
Oh, that was David Landau. And how was he related to the Landau that brought all the
nephew.
boys out?
And it,
Oh, that wasn't
She said
David
it.
Weiss,
could
though.
could I say in his defense,
Weiss
since
or
you're doing
White?
the obstetric thing, that ultrasound scanning wasn't invented till 1970, 1971. So not being able to identify twins in the 1930s was not in any way unusual. And even
However-
today, by palpation.
However, in defense of the mother,
Yeah.
had he listened to his patient,
Yeah. But isn't that the emotional intelligence
you're a
that we're
mommy.
talking about?
Not when you're a
you
mom.
could only say that because you're a man.
Point proven.
That's pretty amazing. Not know.
Yeah.
So Marion had to catch up to the 35 minutes.
Yeah.
She had to get there.
But
Well,
Rich, that's
she was late quite often.
Rich, that's,
And my mom is on time? No, I think
Rich,
that's a
that's
wall
still
trait.
very common. People not to know that if they have no antenatal care, just feeling a tummy. Sometimes it's obvious, but other times it's not obvious at all whether they've got twins. So if you have no scans, there's guesswork.
Today, most people
Have scans,
we
that's
hang
right.
around with
But but poor people don't. If you think about it, they have no access to it.
Right.
And I mean, when you've got triplets, the head is so, the third one is often so buried. Even with a scan, you can't always tell. So, surprises still happen.